afternoon and welcome back to the GSC Executives Podcast with your host, Caitlin Ty. And today I'm delighted to have on Katherine Hernandez, who is the Regional Director of Home Group. Thank you for having me. Thank you for being on the podcast.
Very, very pleased to be here and talk to you today. Thank you.
So just to kick things off, could you tell me a little bit about your professional journey and how it led you to your current role as Regional Director at Home Group?
Yeah, I'm one of these people that has never had a career plan.
Best way to be.
I listen to all these other podcasts and read these books about how important it is to have a goal and set milestones. I've never, ever done that. And I've got ADHD as well, so I flip from one thing to another. So my career background, I've got a lot of different jobs, but they've all been within the same theme. So I've always known that I want to help people and do something to put back. Mm-hmm. So I've got this real strong social purpose. So I've got a very long CV with youth work, adult social care, children's social care, those type of things. Mm-hmm. And I've done so many different qualifications. I can't remember them all. I'm a qualified teacher, youth, I've bounced around until I found where I need to be. Mm-hmm. And I came to Home Group 15 years ago and I found my home. As cheesy as that sounds, I had no idea that housing was a career or anything.
Yeah.
So I think it's testament to Home Group that I've been here for 15 years because they've given me so many opportunities. Mm-hmm. And with the ADHD, it's been brilliant. I can try different things, So I've been able to fulfill kind of career goals that I never knew I had and aspirations I didn't know I would have within housing here. It's been fantastic.
I think as well, as I said before, I know obviously some people from school will have that set career and it's like, right, that's what they want to be. I think in a way, it's better to be kind of much more open-minded and try different things and then you know what you like and what you don't like, because sadly, obviously, not everyone wants the career that they want. So the fact that you've been able to try and do a lot of different things and then obviously come to Home Group and still being able to try a lot of different things under one roof has been really positive. And obviously, as you say, got you where you are today.
Fantastic. It really has. I've enjoyed my career journey. I look back and I was an outdoor instructor and
really have done everything, haven't you?
I really have been all over everywhere. I used to live in a shed on Lake Windermere, and when it rained, I got wet, delivering outdoor education to young people. So I've moved about and I've tried different things, and honestly, housing is just fantastic. It's a great career. Mm-hmm. I would recommend it to anyone.
Brilliant. So what, I guess, inspired you to build a career in the housing and social care sector?
I think it's always been that driver to help other people.
Yeah.
But coming into Home Group, it was seeing the bigger picture as well. So like I said, I never knew housing could be a career.
Yeah.
And a lot of people who come into housing, that's what happens. You fall into it and then you never leave. But it's, especially with ADHD, it's like a blockbuster of a career. It's, there's twists and turns and plot twists and characters and all sorts of things. And it a cliche, but there really isn't, the same. Exactly. Yeah. You don't know what you're going to deal with within this type of sector, but you can put so much back in. But you can also learn a lot. There's so many different disciplines within housing. You think about all the property management, the asset stuff, you've got finance, media, comms, the whole piece here, you can find it. So I think for me, it's that social purpose as well. And it feels like a privilege to be able to work somewhere with such a fantastic social purpose and give something back.
Mm-hmm. And to be able to actually see what you've been able to do and be like, yeah, I could put my name on that. I've helped support that, or I've helped do that. Yeah.
Yeah, 100%. And I've kind of risen through the ranks as well. I've worked front facing with customers, and now I'm at a position where I'm a regional director. I understand the job. And,
yes, because you've had to work your way up. So it's not you just kind of coming in at the top and being like, oh, well, I think X, Y, Z should happen. Yeah. You've seen, as you say, face to face.
Yeah.
So therefore you can kind of carry that.
Definitely. But I think there's also space within housing for people to come from outside of the sector in. I think there's so many transferable skills. So I would definitely say if you haven't thought about it, go for it. Because we are a very open and welcoming sector.
Mm-hmm. Brilliant. Well, you've been here 15 years, so so what advice would you give to someone who's aspiring to grow and succeed within this field?
I think I've got 3 pieces of advice, and 2 of them are kind of generic, but were given to me by family members. So my first management position, I was 25. I was just a baby, I remember it. And my mum and my brother took me out to buy me a suit and,
Get ready for the first day. Yeah.
cufflinks. I was like, what? And the advice that they both give me, I've taken through my whole career with me. My mum was a nurse and she ended up getting into the management side and being like a clinical manager of surgery for a hospital. And she said to me, at the end of every shift, go and say thank you to everybody. No matter if it's been an easy shift or a hard shift, thank people. And I've always done that, even at the end of a call. If it's been a difficult call or a meeting, I've thanked people for joining in or contributing. And I think that, we come to work to get paid, let's be honest, but saying thank you and receiving that thanks means something to people. So I've always done that. And the second piece of advice was from my brother, who was in the army. And he said, don't ever ask anybody to do something that you're not willing to do.
Yeah.
And whilst my team have technical skills that I couldn't do.
Of course. Yeah, it kind of goes to a certain extent, that too, because it's like...
can't do it. But yeah, I would never ask them to do or be in a challenging situation and not be willing to do it myself. So they're the 2 generic pieces of advice. And the very specific one for housing, I would say, is think about the customer. So customer, resident, tenant, we all use different terms in the sector, and we all as housing associations and providers will say that cliched thing that customers are at the heart of everything we do.
Yeah.
But if they're not, there's no point being here. We can go home to our homes and we feel warm and safe and comfortable and proud of where we live.
Yeah.
And that's all our customers want. So if you can put yourself in their shoes and understand what they need from you, then you'll go far in this career. It really is a people business rather than a bricks and mortar business.
Yeah. And I mean, as you can tell, you clearly enjoy doing that, and obviously working your way up, as mentioned beforehand, that's obviously helped you in your career as well. So
yeah, I think one of the big drivers for me as well is that, I've lived in social housing. I grew up in social housing. I lived on a council estate. And later on in life, when I needed it again, it was there for me. I lived in council housing again when I needed it. So I totally get it from both angles, but we're here to serve people.
Yeah. So you're able to give that real insight into it as well.
Yeah.
So what key values or principles define your leadership style, and how do you apply them in your daily work?
I think my leadership style has been shaped greatly from my earlier years as well. So being a youth worker, when I started, we didn't have a computer. There wasn't a computer in the office. There was no tools. There was no technology. It was just you on a dubious street in the northeast doing outreach work with young people. And all you had was the ability to listen to them, connect with them and craft a conversation that one day the light bulb might come on and that young person makes a choice because of something you've said or done.
Yeah.
And for me, that kind of how you interact and connect with people is far more important than, a leadership style out of a textbook.
Yeah.
I often think leadership isn't about hierarchy, but it's about humanity. It's about being a human being, isn't it? And you can get caught up in theories of leadership and styles, like I say, but if you look at people as people, not as resources or pieces to be moved around a chessboard, but really, you're leading, you're managing people who have wants, needs, aspirations the same as you. So treat them in that way. And I think, that leads to authenticity. So you become more authentic with your direct reports or the people within your team.
Yeah.
And it builds trust. And I think people buy into what you're trying to achieve if you seem credible.
I think as well, like, I know, as you mentioned, all the theories of different types of management and things like that. I'm kind of have a similar perspective to you within managing, because I feel as though everyone likes to get managed differently as well. And obviously appreciate, depending on how many people you're managing, it can be quite difficult. But it's about getting to know that person and what you could say to one person or how you might manage one person maybe not effective at all with
Yeah.
someone else. Some people like just kind of be told exactly what to do, then they'll go off and do it. Some people kind of need that bit more nurturing kind of
Yeah.
way of
Yeah.
kind of being asked to do their job sort of thing. So it's just about, as you say, realizing yes, they are a real person, and kind of going back to what you were saying before about, would you get someone who you're managing do what? Would you do
Mm-hmm.
what you're asking
Mm-hmm.
them to do, sort of thing?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
yeah.
Absolutely. I want my team to put themselves in the shoes of our customers.
Mhm.
So I put myself in the shoes of my team, and if I'm asking of something, would I do it?
Mhm.
So I think that's really important, being empathetic, but really caring about the people that work for you. We spend so much time with people at work; they almost become your work family,
Oh god.
and you know more about them than you possibly should. And I've known managers in the past being, quite having really firm boundaries, and they don't want to get to know the people they manage. And
Yeah.
I think that's such a shame, because you need to have that connection when you spend so much time
Oh,
with people at work.
especially, I mean, I know a lot of companies are fully back in the office now
Yeah,
as well, but
yeah,
it's that isolation of,
yeah,
I don't want to just come into work and then just head down. I
yeah,
know some people do,
yeah,
but as you say, you're in the office or working 5 days a week, majority of people.
yeah.
So why not get to know
Definitely,
everyone who you're
definitely.
working with a bit
Yeah,
more?
yeah.
So how have you handled setbacks or challenges in major projects, and what important lessons have you taken from those experiences?
I think in a professional capacity, I enjoy setbacks. I think it's the
I
ADHD.
was
It's
going to say
like,
it's a challenge of it.
it's like, all right, I can't do that. What shall I? So my brain does work a bit differently. If I come across something, I find it to be a challenge. So I,
Yeah.
I will formulate 4 different options, and my brain works that quickly that, I'm over there and I've made the decision. So I really enjoy that. It is the plot twist.
Mhm.
Otherwise, it would be a bit boring at work, wouldn't it? If
Yeah,
if you
bit
didn't.
mundane, like,
Yeah.
oh, this has happened before. Oh, I know the solution to this. That sort of thing.
Definitely.
Yeah.
And I think as a sector, we've faced so many challenges over the last, well, since I've been here. We've had Grenfell, which was devastating. We've had COVID. More recently, the death of Awab Ishak, the little boy who died living in the house full of damp and mould.
Mm.
And just this week, the law has changed for housing providers to do more around that,
Mhm.
identifying and resolving damp and mould.
Yeah.
So there's so many things that as a sector we face as challenges.
Mhm.
And I think for me personally, it's only an opportunity to get better and serve those people better. So it keeps you on your toes.
Mhm.
So I enjoy a bit of a setback. I think personally, I've had a lot of challenges, I would say. I had open heart surgery 6 years ago. I was born with a hole in my heart that I had no idea about.
My cousin had that.
No way.
Yeah.
Wow.
And she had it when she was younger, and
Yeah.
she took her teddy bear in for surgery, and the surgeon
Oh,
stitched the teddy bear up like Steve was
oh, that's
stitched
so
up as well.
lovely. Oh, it's amazing. So, but yeah, mine grew to be like 3 centimeters big in my heart, and it was in a really rare and complicated place, apparently. So they had to do the surgery,
Yeah.
but it took about 2 years for I got bounced about different wards, different
Mhm.
places in the hospital to try and identify what was wrong with me. I couldn't walk up the stairs. I was out of breath. I would mush words up and sentences. So, I went over to neurology and I had head scans, and
Yeah.
eventually a neurologist listened to my heart and said, "You've got a hole in your heart. We need to go to cardio." And that was a relief as soon
So you know
as,
what it
yeah,
is.
but then it was like, "Oh, you're going to cut me open? Really?"
It's like,
Yeah.
something else a bit easier.
Okay. And I think
Okay.
I held it together for everyone around me, because my whole family, my wife, everyone was, really
Yeah.
quite concerned.
Mhm.
And I didn't let any of that get to me. I tried to be strong for them all.
Mhm.
And I came to, and I was in intensive care, and it was awful. I remember every single second, feeling, smell, emotion. And they don't tell you when you're going for open heart surgery that it is usual for people to have a really traumatic experience emotionally. You've got a big gash down your
Yeah.
front,
Yeah.
and I really struggled for a long time with my feelings. And they just say, within X amount of weeks, a month, you'll be back on your feet. but they don't tell you how to process any of
They just say
that.
the physical side of it,
Yeah,
not the actual
yeah,
emotional.
yeah. So I was going to cardio rehab, and one of the cardio nurses noticed it, and she said, "This is so common. I want to refer you to psychology."
Mm-hmm.
So dubiously, I went along, and honestly, it was the best thing I've ever done. I worked with a psychologist for about 18 months, I think, and just managing all of that. So she diagnosed me with PTSD, clinical depression and anxiety, and just, it was just this process of learning how to deal with the new me.
Yeah.
And I still get flashbacks now, less so. Certainly on the anniversary coming up to it, I will get, I'm back in that ICU. I know what's happening. I can hear the machines. I feel the pain,
Mm-hmm.
but it's less so, and I know it'll pass. So
Yeah, with time, I know it's cliche to say, but time does.
it really does.
You think at the moment, in this like moment in time, you're like, no, this is never gonna. This is it. I'm gonna be like this for the rest of my life. But year on year, hopefully, gradually.
I think one of the important things I learned from that was that it's really important to be open and talk. So I was coming to work through all of that, and I didn't tell anybody anything. And then gradually I started to talk about how I was feeling at work and share it with my team, and things just felt lighter and easier and better.
Mm-hmm.
And it reminds me, I was reading a book with my little girl the other day. It was about 2 nights ago, and she's only 4. And we got a book for her, and it's called something like the Worry Bag. And I was reading it thinking,
this is... calls me.
Oh,
we're a family of worriers.
You need to read this book. So it's just about this little girl who has this big bag of worries that she drags around with her, and it's getting wrapped around her feet, and it's like squashing her in bed, and there's no room for her in the chair because this bag of worries is taken over.
Mm-hmm.
And then one day she meets a stranger who just opens the bag and says, "Let's get all these worries out." And they start to go away. Some of them run away. Some of them you can get rid of. Yeah.
But you gradually do all.
Totally. It's just like that. So I would really recommend being more open about how people are feeling. Mm-hmm. So that's something I've really learned and lean into a lot more.
I think, as the saying goes, a problem shared is a problem half. Even if they can't necessarily solve your problem, the person who you're talking to them about, they can maybe offer advice, or they might know someone who knows someone, or even if it is just to help take your mind off it, just to have a cup of tea or whatever it is. It really, I agree with you, it really does help. And sorry to hear that you had to go through that.
That's all right. I've got a cracking scar now, but no, it's changed and shaped my life for the better. So
got to look at the positives.
I really do now. It's been so helpful in understanding myself a lot more.
So what strategies do you use to continuously improve, both personally as a leader and across your teams?
For me, I think, again, I draw back to my early years, so working in that social care setting.
Mm-hmm.
I would work with, young people who were in the care system, and I would hear some fairly traumatic things and deal with difficult situations. But reflective practice and proper supervision to unpick that really helped. Mm-hmm. And that whole process of stopping and thinking about what is happening and how you're dealing with it, could you do something different, is something that I've probably brought through my career with me. So it's that reflective approach helps, because if you don't stop to think about what you need to do differently, you're just going to keep on repeating the same thing.
Of course.
But I think it's probably really common that we all just run from one thing to another and we don't stop. So
I think especially in this day and age where everyone just expects to do things so quickly, you do even more so need to take that time to be like, right, let's just pause. It's not me being unproductive. It's me, as you say, potentially being a lot more productive because I'm noticing my mistakes and therefore won't do them in the future.
Absolutely. And I think coaching has really helped me as well. So I've got a fabulous coach, and I recommend coaching to everybody because it gives you that time to process and download what's happening. Where you don't have it in the day, do you? Normally you jump from one thing to another. So I think for me personally, doing that reflective practice, and with my team, I try very hard to stop and pause, and we do regular quarterly reviews to see where we're going and what we need to change. But it's really difficult because it is so fast-paced, the world at the moment. sometimes you don't know whether you're coming or going.
Yeah. And when's the right time to take that 5 minutes to be like, right, let's have that reflective time.
Yeah, just stop, sit quietly, or just go and put Netflix on for 10 minutes and let your brain process in the background. But yeah, I think space, time, and the opportunity to talk about things is really helpful to continuously improve.
So kind of talking about improvement, what would you say is your biggest, what accomplishment in your career are you most proud of?
In my career, I'm really proud that I was accepted onto the board of Railway Housing Association, and they are it's a fantastic organisation, really small, but amazing. And I wasn't looking to join a board at all. You know, I had a 3-year-old at the time. I'd just got this big job.
Don't have the time. Congratulations, by the way.
I just thought, I haven't got the headspace for this, but I thought I'll have a conversation about it. So I firstly had a conversation with Matt Sugden, who's the CEO, and then I spoke to Yvonne Castle, who was the chair designate at the time and is now the chair. And I knew within minutes of speaking to them both,
you wanted to be on.
I had to. It went from them selling it to me going, let me on, let me in. I really bought into what they were selling, basically. Yeah. The aspiration of the organisation is fantastic. We want to be the best small housing association in the UK, you know, in terms of customer satisfaction. And I love that, like, to be number one and to care that much that you're going to put yourself out there and say it, had to be part of it. And both of them are just such inspirational people. They're just so positive, and I felt like I found my tribe. Yeah. So I joined the board, and I think our first board meeting was in the January, and we had the regulator of social housing sitting there observing us. And I just thought, what am I doing? I grew up in a council estate, now I'm sitting on a board with the regulator. And so it was just such an amazing experience. But because of the culture that they've built there, and Matt and Yvonne are great, and the rest of the board members are, I felt like I belonged immediately, and I felt I could contribute immediately. And that wasn't something I was expecting to happen. I thought
so soon as well.
Yeah. So it just, the power of finding the right people and the right opportunity. So I'm really proud of that. And 10 months in, we're doing fantastic things, and it's flown over.
So number one soon?
Say that again?
So you're going to be number one?
In terms of
being the best social...
Oh, yeah, sorry. Well, we're not far off. We're in top quartile for most of our tenant satisfaction measure. But we've got a little bit of work to do, but ranked within the top 10 in the country at the moment in terms of where we've scored. So it's amazing.
Brilliant.
Yeah.
Well, good luck and congratulations.
Thank you.
So what drives or motivates you the most in your professional life, would you say?
I think, despite me not knowing housing was a career, but now being in housing, the power that it has, and how housing can change people's lives. Because I've lived it. I came from a council estate in the northeast of England. Yeah. And every single day I see examples of where we have done something to support somebody to start a new chapter of their life, be it we've helped somebody get off the street and into their own home, we've helped a family flee in domestic abuse. You know, it's that real hearts and minds thing that we've, by doing what we do really well, we've helped somebody start a new chapter of their life. We might have safeguarded somebody from abuse or really unsafe situations. And there are so many unsung heroes in housing dealing with things day in, day out that nobody knows about.
Yeah, just all behind kind of closed
yeah. And, you know, as a sector, I mentioned some of those big things earlier where it has gone horrifically wrong, like Grenfell and Ewa Bishak. And without doubt, hands up, we haven't got it right as a sector all the time, but we're doing fantastic things.
Who's going to get 100%? Yeah. That's the sad thing about it. And obviously, yes, you've mentioned a few, but just think in comparison, how many of those things you have stopped or have been able to prevent as well. So you should have a
big pat on the back.
Yeah, exactly. So obviously you mentioned there about sitting on the board of the Railway Housing Association. What motivated you to do that initially?
I think it was the positivity and the drive and the energy behind it. And I think anyone in my teams will say that I am competitive and I like to be on the top of the leaderboard for all of our KPIs.
Of course.
And I am.
Well done.
But I think for me, it's always what that means. So I'll give you an example. So we collect rent from customers living in our properties, and one of the sector's KPIs is the percentage of people who are in arrears, or the percent are in arrears. So my region, my team are high performers, top quartile within the sector. I'm really, really proud of them. Not just because that's more money into home group and I care about bottom line. It means that more people sustain a tenancy. So there's less people at risk of eviction, less families going to end up in temporary accommodation. And that's what I drive my teams to think about. So be the best, because that has such an impact. And I think that motivates people to want to come to work, because it's not just about putting pennies in somebody's pocket. It's about somebody's life. And you can make that change and help people with that. So I think Railway had the same level of ambition and that real focus on the resident and wanting to make changes. So I was inspired by the ambition, by the journey, by the strategy, and just this determination that they were going to be the best. So I think that's what really caught my attention. As soon as I knew that, I was there.
And as you say, once you met the board members, you felt like you had to be there.
100%. Just amazing people within the sector. For a very small housing association, they've got some real big hitters on the board as well, and so they're all an inspiration. They're all people I would look up to and want to emulate, and I'm sitting on a board with them. So it's crazy, but I'm so grateful to be there.
Oh, definitely. So why do you believe that diversity and inclusion are vital conversations in organisations today?
I think they are must-haves, aren't there? I think if you strip it all back to what it actually is about, it's about fairness. It's about justice, and it's about building trust. And who wouldn't want to live in a society that is fair, where people have the same opportunities? So I think those conversations are so important, because we are all so different. I have ADHD, I've had PTSD, some quite significant health challenges that still persist. I'm LGBT plus, I'm married, I've got a wife, I'm mixed race, I'm all of these things. And I bet if I asked you, you'd be more than one thing. We're all so many different things. Why would we not want to talk about it? Because all of those things have shaped me to be who I am. So we need to have those conversations. It's, we can be who we want to be, and we should be.
Oh, definitely. And I always find it interesting finding out about people. I mean, it's intriguing, because if you haven't had something, or I don't know, aren't a certain way, or have different beliefs, or whatever makes you slightly, how should I say, not different, but different to who you are, sort of, in a way. It's always interesting to find out more information, because you never know, that might change your thoughts on it, whether they could be positive about that in the first place. But it's just, I think I'm just very intrigued. So I think it's always, as you say, really good to talk about it. So what barriers to diversity and inclusion in leadership have you observed, and how have you worked to address or remove them?
I think the main barrier is fear, probably fear of saying the wrong thing, offending somebody, ending up in front of HR, whatever it is. I think people are genuinely well-intentioned, but really worried. And I've had this conversation with my team. We've talked about, gender fluidity, being non-binary, being trans, LGBT plus, and people are just really worried about getting pronouns wrong or saying the wrong thing. And I think that prevents us from entering into those conversations as a starter. I think the other thing is stigma. I think before I started talking about having ADHD, I felt like, oh, I can't say that because everyone will think I'm the naughty kid at school. It's just ridiculous.
Exactly.
I'm a grown woman.
Someone's had too much sugar or too much caffeine today, and it's like, it's just like, this is just me, but I've got to retain it. Yeah,
absolutely. And both of those things apply to me. So yeah, you do feel a little bit less than, and I think they're huge barriers to people being themselves at work and being open about things. And I think that's why I feel quite passionately about being open about it. I feel really uncomfortable about it sometimes, but I think if I don't, in the position I'm in, I'm letting people down. I've got the responsibility to talk about things.
Yeah, and then hopefully, because they have that trust in you, they're able to, maybe some people, it might take them a while to open up themselves, and you're not saying, you have to tell me all your problems from A to B, A to B, A to Z.
Yeah.
But hopefully that kind of encourages them to kind of speak to, if not you, someone else in the team, just so that they're able to open up as well.
When I've done it, I've had such fantastic feedback from colleagues who, people have come to me and said, I thank you so much for saying you have ADHD. I didn't ever think you could be a director and have ADHD. I've never seen it. And I'm like, hi, here I am. And I just think that's so sad, isn't it? That people don't see themselves in higher leadership, in levels of leadership. And I don't know whether there's a perception that leaders have to be, a certain way.
Yeah.
But we're just people at the end of the day.
Exactly. And use it to your advantage.
Absolutely.
So you've got to look at it. Like, I mean, I got diagnosed with ADHD a couple of years ago as well. And I've thankfully never seen it as a negative.
Yeah.
But I've always seen it as a positive, because I'd be like, right, if I'm hyper focused, I'm like, I know I can get so much work. But then, my goodness, if I'm procrastinating, if I'm not interested, that's it. I'm like, good luck.
Yeah.
There's absolutely no chance.
Yeah, I've zoned out of this conversation. Yeah.
And, I mean, it's sometimes getting new hobbies quite expensive.
What's been your most expensive hobby?
I mean, I'd probably say skiing.
Wow.
Because I got news. I do still enjoy it, but then I haven't been for 5 years.
Yeah.
So I got like the boots and everything.
Oh, wow, did you?
Yeah, the whole thing. But how about yourself?
Oh, I've done loads of things.
I know,
my wife laughs at me because there's a drawer full of crafting, and I'm like, I don't touch it now.
Crafting, I know not to go down that. I've tried it too many times.
Yep. At one point, I was banging to plants. I had all of, and then that kind of fell by the wayside, and now she has to water them. But
I was going to say, surely because of the speed that they'll grow.
Yeah.
I'm planted them.
Next one.
Right,
Yeah, all sorts, really. It's
just whatever you see. It's like whatever the fad is or anything like that. It's like, I'll try that. I know one of my friends, did he try surfing, bought all the high-end equipment, went out once. I've always tried it more than once. He went out once, and I think it was winter or something, and he came back out. It was like, it's not for me.
No, it wouldn't be for me either.
Yeah, I know, for something like that.
Yeah,
it's not for me. But you've got to take it, just spin it and make it a positive.
Absolutely, yeah.
So how do you create a culture where people feel comfortable sharing their thoughts and experiences around diversity and inclusion?
I think it is just being open and being willing to put yourself out there as well. There's something very powerful about being vulnerable with other people. Not very comfortable, but powerful about saying, that applies to me as well.
Yeah.
We want our colleagues to be open and tell us what they need to thrive and but thrive definitely in the workplace. But if we're not willing to say what we need as leaders, then it's
how
just,
can that be replicated by
So I think we've got to, in a position of leadership, you've got to be open and share experiences. And I think it's just conversation by conversation, and you just build that culture of trust. And
it's not going to happen overnight, sadly, but it's as you say, just bit by bit.
Yeah, that's right.
So in your view, where is Home Group currently on its diversity and inclusion journey?
I think Home Group are fantastic for diversity and inclusion. And over the last 15 years, I have seen a huge sustained commitment to it. So it's not, a campaign or a fad. It's not every now and then we'll talk about it. And
it's a tick box. It's not like that at all. Yeah.
Not at all. And I think that really drives a sense of belonging.
Mm-hmm.
I think people feel comfortable and that belong here. It's certainly the only workplace I've ever felt as though I truly belong and can be my absolute self.
Yeah.
So I think that, that we do all of the things, the training, the values-based stuff, but it is how we conduct ourselves in day to day and how we show up.
Mm-hmm.
And we do some really simple things. So we do something called a life swap, and that started out with customers who were comfortable coming and talking about their lives to colleagues.
Mm-hmm.
And if you're not somebody who works with customers day in, day out, you don't really know. If you work in finance or somewhere, so people would attend a life swap, dial in or go to it in person and listen to that, person's life. And then it kind of branched out into colleagues saying, I want to talk about things. So there was colleagues sharing, all sorts of things that have happened in their lives. I did a life swap as well. And it just is that it's a safe opportunity where people can say, so what pronoun should I use and what if I get it wrong?
Yeah.
And asking those questions and really understanding how it feels to live a different life and be different. So there's things like that happen all of the time.
That's fantastic. It's such a safe place to be able to do that. Yeah. And for people who do have the fear of saying the wrong terminology, then that's the perfect time for them to kind of sit and ask.
It's just such a nice environment to be able to learn as well. You can't learn about ADHD on a training course, for example, because it's different for everyone, but you can ask that person about their particular life and how it affects them or how they walk through life with that.
Mm-hmm.
So I think Home Group are really great at doing things like that. And like I said, there's so much that happens on a day-to-day. We've introduced the No Room for Hate Charter to basically say to our customers and colleagues, there isn't any room for hate here. We don't abide by racism or anything like that. And if you are a customer or a colleague, this is what we believe in. We believe in ED&I. And I think our CEO, Mark Henderson, he lives and breathes this. This isn't a tick box for him either. He really has fostered this culture over since I've been here. And it matters, after we had the riots, was it last year?
I think so.
It blurs into one for me, but
I'm sure. Yeah, I think it was last year. Yeah,
we openly reached out to colleagues who were affected, and because we've got colleagues who, I had colleagues who couldn't get to work because they were afraid to leave the house because they were people of colour.
Yeah,
and they were on shift and they couldn't get home because there was people outside of the building rioting and setting bins alight. And we made sure that they were okay. We supported them afterwards. We did things like change the shift patterns or made sure they got taxis. And so it's really about understanding and being there for your colleagues and putting them first.
Yeah, and which obviously then puts their trust within you and within the company itself.
Yeah. Hopefully they felt that.
Yeah.
But I really do genuinely believe that we're ahead of the curve with these things here at Home Group. So
it definitely sounds like it. You've got some fantastic things in place for it as well. So what future trends do you think will shape D&I in the workplace, and how is Home Group preparing to respond to them?
The one trend that worries me is what we've seen happen over in America. This whole cancel culture of ED&I and big companies, cancelling the programs or pretending it doesn't exist anymore. And, we've seen it kind of come over here in the UK. We've seen, some of the big companies not turning up for prides now and pulling out of things like that. And, we have political parties that have views on that in the workplace and in local authorities. But I think Home Group will stand strong at that. And at various points, we've said this isn't what we believe. So when the changes came around the rights of trans people, we said, no, we believe in the rights of trans people. We were really
not
open. Absolutely not. Yeah, we were there for our colleagues who were worried and, feeling anxious about that. So we tried our best to stand up in the face of that. And I think that comes from our history of social injustice. You know, Home Group was formed as a result of the Jarrow marches and, you know, marching for equality or for, you know, equal rights. So that, and I think that's housing associations in general. It runs through the core of us. We want to provide equal opportunities for people in our communities. We care deeply about social justice. So I think that worries me that, you know, whatever happens in America comes over, doesn't it? And how that will transpire outside of these four walls, outside of Home Group, and how it'll impact colleagues and our customers. We'll have to wait and see.
But as you say, Home Group have got a voice and they're obviously happy to use it.
Absolutely.
And so, and as they should, as they should. Hopefully, obviously, it doesn't come to us.
Touch wood.
Who knows what goes on?
I know.
I've got cousins who came over for the weekend and they're like, come and visit us, but maybe just wait a bit.
Yeah.
I'm like, yes, I might do. I might do. Maybe 10 years, 15 years, we'll see. So what changes or improvements would you like to see in the housing and care sector in the coming years?
I think I would like to see a real recognition of the impact that housing and supported housing can have on society, on the economy, and in general. I think that housing has been politically marginalised for a long time. You know, it's not seen as a core public service, and it absolutely should be. You know, supported housing alone, where we provide housing for people who are the most vulnerable people in society, so people who have mental health needs or learning disabilities or homelessness. Those services are actually a public asset, you know, and the numbers just show it for what it is. The National Housing Federation have done the research, and for every pound that's spent in supported housing saves £2 downstream for health, for adult social care.
It's the domino effect, isn't it?
Isn't it? Yeah. So we've got the numbers, we see it on a daily basis. So let's really recognise the importance. And we've done so much to be part of the solution within Home Group. So we have general needs housing, but we also have we're one of the UK's largest supported accommodation providers as well, and support providers. And one of our pilots came about because we saw a need from hospitals. So we had a little pilot that grew into one of the hospital trusts. One of the main reasons that people can't get out of hospital is because of housing. So again, I think it's the Nat Fed said 1 in 5 people are in hospital and they're clinically well, but they've got nowhere to go. And we used to talk to local authorities all the time to say people are discharged from hospital homeless to get them out. Because health need the bed back.
Oh, of course,
And that poor person's back on the street. So we worked within one of our hospital trusts and developed a hospital discharge service that helped people when they were admitted from that point to when they got discharged. We found them housing, sustainable housing. We used our own housing as well. We've got a lot of it. And as a result, we, on average, within the first 3 months, I think it was, reduced the average length of stay by 99 days. And that equated to £1.4 million of saving for the NHS. And unfortunately, the funding ended. And that service is only there in a very small capacity now. And for me, what I'd love to see is that wider conversation instead of all of the funding being in little pockets and silos. Let's think bigger than this, because we can really provide help and support and make a difference.
Well, the proof's in the pudding.
Totally is.
1.4 million, did you say?
1.4 million, savings.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's crazy. Yes, more conversations, definitely.
It would be lovely. Yeah.
So kind of looking back over your career, is there anything that you would have done slightly differently, and what influenced that reflection?
I don't think I would do anything differently, but I would go back to my younger self and say to listen to that inner voice inside, because I think getting older now and being through everything I've been through personally and professionally, I think that confidence comes from the alignment of your values. So once you know what you stand for, and once you know what matters to you, you can make the right decisions confidently, and not be swayed by what you think you should do. And I would just say to me, just be yourself. Don't, you're perfectly fine as you are.
If you've got that thought, you can have that confidence within yourself too.
Absolutely, yes.
See how you're feeling and voice your opinion.
Yep,
Yeah.
And everybody is a bit different. Everybody, you don't have to fit into one way of being. Just be you. And I think that would lead to a lot more confidence a lot sooner, and a lot more happiness a lot sooner as well.
Well, hopefully, you seem very happy and confident now, so hopefully that obviously continues. But no, thank you very much, Katherine, for being on the podcast. It's been absolutely fabulous to have you on.
Oh, I've truly enjoyed it. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for joining us on this episode of the GSC Executives Podcast. Today's conversation was hosted and recorded by Caitlin Ty, with editing and production managed by Stephen Smith. The podcast is produced by GSC Executives in conjunction with Daniel Owen Limited. For more details about our executive search solutions, as well as upcoming episodes, please visit our website, gscexecutives.co.uk. If you're keen to hear more industry insights, please consider subscribing on your preferred podcast platform. Until next time, continue to lead with excellence.